Welcome back to the deep dive. If you follow the celebrity world even a little bit, you know there are these key moments, right? Events that go beyond just news and become, well, huge cultural snapshots.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking Met Gala level, maybe the Oscar.
Yeah.
But for Halloween,
Yeah.
it's got to be Heidi Klum's party. For what, 25 years
A
now?
quarter century, yeah. It's become this absolute institution. So today we're diving into a whole stack of sources covering the 2025 event.
Right. And our goal here isn't just to, list who wore what. We want to get into the skin of it. Look at the cultural meaning, the sheer artistic effort involved. And importantly, what the guest list tells us about fame today. It's shifting, isn't it? You see reality stars, TikTok influencers right alongside movie stars.
It really is like a cultural barometer, as you said. And we've got the perfect way into this whole discussion. Based on the sources, it's one specific costume, Ariana Madix.
Ah, yes. Her channeling Lady Gaga, but not just any Gaga.
Exactly. It was super specific, inspired by Gaga's Zombieboy performance from Coachella earlier in the year.
And that choice. Wow. It's so layered. It connects Klum's own mythological theme, her Medusa this year, with Gaga's huge pop moment and this really poignant tribute to the artist Rick Janis, the original Zombieboy.
Mythology, music, memory, maybe even tragedy. It's all wrapped up in that one costume choice. It gives us a really unique lens to look at the whole spectacle. Okay, so let's back up a bit first. For anyone who maybe doesn't remember the early days, how did this one party become the Halloween event? How did Klum make it this essential date on the calendar?
Well, it actually started from a pretty simple idea back in 2000 in New York. Klum was already, a massive supermodel.
Right.
And she just looked around and thought, none of these Halloween parties are quite spectacular enough. They lacked that real creative commitment, that high production value.
So she just decided to do it herself. Make it bigger, better.
Pretty much. She wanted to elevate the whole idea of a celebrity Halloween party. Make the spectacle the main event, not just who showed up.
And the key was that one rule, wasn't it? The one that made it instantly famous or maybe infamous.
You got it. The golden rule. No costume, no entry. Sounds simple, but it was revolutionary for this kind of event.
It really set the bar, didn't it? No half-hearted attempts allowed.
Exactly. Our sources really stress this. It's the foundation. You can't just grab a mask from the store. It forces everyone, from the biggest movie star to now a TikTok creator, to invest serious time, serious thought, and often serious money into their look.
I do wonder sometimes, though, is it just about effort, or does that high bar kind of end up being about budget, too? Like, can you really compete without hiring a Hollywood effects team?
That's a fair point. The sources suggest the intent is about creative effort, but yeah, the result often involves big spending. It acts as this creative filter.
And over 25 years, it's just snowballed.
Oh, absolutely. It's grown into what the media consistently calls a carefully orchestrated spectacle. People anticipate it like they do the Oscars red carpet, maybe even more, because the transformations are so much wilder. It is its own red carpet, really.
What's really striking in the 2025 coverage, though, is how Klum herself is talking about it. It's not just fun and games for her anymore. She's linking it to this whole debate about AI.
This is maybe one of the most interesting takeaways this year. She's really positioned herself and the party as standing for human creativity, for live artistry.
How so? What did she actually say?
She made several comments picked up by different outlets about how generative AI is changing visual media, how it can create these images instantly. And she sees that as, well, potentially devaluing the skill and time that goes into human-made art.
So her argument is basically, as AI makes digital images cheap and easy, the real, physical, sometimes difficult craft becomes more valuable, more precious, I think was her word.
Precisely. The value for her is tied to the human hours, the sweat, the teamwork. Think about it. She's spending potentially millions each year on her own costume to make this exact point.
It's like performance art protesting the digital tide.
Kinda, yeah. She's saying AI can't replicate the feel of the materials, the smell of the paint, the energy of a whole team working together.
Yeah.
It's a stand for physical craft.
And her own costumes are the ultimate proof. You can't just buy these things off the rack. They take months of planning.
Months. Sometimes close to a year. She brings in these incredible teams, Emmy-nominated prosthetic artists, top costume designers, special effects makeup gurus. It's movie-level production.
We have to remember some of the past ones to get the scale right. The earthworm.
Oh, the earthworm in 2022. She could barely move. She was basically hanging from a fishing line.
Or E.T. in 2024 that took, what, 6 months just for the prosthetics?
Yeah, the fitting and molding process was immense. And Jessica Rabbit. Think about sitting for 9 hours straight in makeup.
That's insane endurance. It's part of the performance itself.
It absolutely is. And she's tackled mythology before, too, like Kali, the Hindu goddess. All that history, that commitment to pushing boundaries sets the stage for 2025. She always goes big. But this year, she picked a concept that was maybe her most ambitious and definitely one of her scariest.
So against that backdrop, the defense of human craft, the history of insane transformations, what was the big reveal for 2025?
Medusa. She finally did Medusa, the Gorgon from Greek myth, the one whose look turns you to stone.
Wow, people must have been asking for that one for years.
Apparently so.
Yeah.
She told reporters it was something she'd been thinking about for a long time. She'd seen other versions, but she wanted to create her own definitive Medusa. Something really terrifying, really serpentine.
And judging by the pictures, definitive is the word. The execution looks incredible. Let's break down the how, what went into it, starting with the bodysuit.
Okay, the technical details are just wild. It starts with this full serpentine bodysuit. Shimmering greens, golds, look like real snake scales. But here's the key detail, tying back to her whole philosophy. Those scales were hand-painted by specialists on her team, not printed fabric, hand-painted. That gives it a depth and realism, how it catches the light. You just don't get that from mass production.
Okay, hand-painted scales. But the real showstopper had to be the head, right? The snakes.
Oh, absolutely. That was the big engineering feat. They were mechanically animated snakes, not just static rubber things.
Wait, they actually moved.
Yeah. They had tiny motors inside, complex wiring, designed to writhe and twitch realistically. Can you imagine the work involved? Making them move, hiding the mechanics, balancing the weight.
That's beyond costume design. That's like animatronics.
It really is. Industrial design meets horror movie practical effects. And then the face.
Yeah.
Full-on facial prosthetics, exaggerated fangs, reptilian scales around the eyes and jaw. Just this incredibly intimidating, predatory look. She wasn't going for sexy Medusa. She went for monstrous.
Looking at it, you just know that wasn't a quick job before the party.
Quick. Try 10 hours. 10 solid hours in the makeup chair on the day.
10.
Yeah. And they estimated around 15 people were working on her at different stages. Prosthetics, painting, attaching the headpiece, the detailed face work. She literally puts her body through this process.
And she added accessories too, right? To push the warrior idea.
Yes, good point. It wasn't just about being a monster. She had this long, extended serpentine tail trailing behind her, which looked heavy and difficult to manage. And crucially, she carried a bow and arrow.
Ah, so positioning Medusa as a fighter.
Exactly. Not just a victim cursed by the gods, but this powerful, dangerous figure. It fits her goal of making her super ugly, super scary, definitive version.
And of course, her husband, Tom Collitz, had to get involved. What does one wear when your wife is a mechanically animated Gorgon?
He had the perfect, tragic counterpart role. He dressed as a warrior turned to stone by her gaze.
Oh, that's brilliant. How did they pull that off?
Elaborate silver armor, but designed to look cracked and weathered like actual stone. And his pose was deliberately stiff, frozen mid-action. They even gave the armor this sort of chalky texture.
Sounds almost as uncomfortable as the Medusa outfit.
Probably was. Collitz actually talked about how challenging these couple costumes are. He said once Heidi locks onto her idea, which is always the priority he has, to figure out how to match it, keep it unified, but still be able to, function at a party.
Yeah, I bet.
He mentioned it was way more complex than their E.T. costumes the year before. This Medusa Stone Warrior thing was conceptually amazing, but technically a nightmare for both of them.
Okay, so from the host's mind-blowing effort, let's shift to the guests and that specific costume we flagged earlier, Ariana Madix. She's obviously had a huge year, massive visibility boost from Vanderpump Rules.
Huge. She's crossed over into mainstream awareness in a big way.
And she shows Lady Gaga, but again, the key was the specificity, right?
Absolutely. It wasn't just like poker face Gaga or meat dress Gaga. She specifically channeled the look and vibe from Gaga's performance of the song Zombieboy at Coachella in 2025.
That's the kind of deep-cut reference that really lands at a party like this, isn't it? It shows you're paying attention. So what did the actual costume look like? What were the details?
She really nailed the Gaga aesthetic. It was this shimmering silver mini dress, very Gaga stagewear, that kind of futuristic metallic feel. Then she had this amazing crystal-encrusted mask covering part of her face. Masks are such a recurring motif for Gaga, right? That sense of mystery, performance, high concept.
And you can't do Gaga without the silhouette. The shoes must have been intense.
Oh, yeah. Towering metallic platform heels, absolutely essential, plus the platinum blonde hair, styled dramatically, and just really striking accessories. She captured that bold, theatrical, little monster energy perfectly.
Why was this Gaga reference so timely, though, apart from just looking cool? Why did it resonate specifically in late 2025?
Because Gaga was absolutely everywhere in 2025. Her album Mayhem had dropped in the spring, and it was seen as this massive return to form, critically acclaimed.
Right, I remember the buzz around that.
And, maybe even more importantly, she had headlined Coachella in April, her first time since 2017. That performance was a huge global media moment. So Max picking a specific look from that set, it tapped right into the immediate cultural conversation. Perfect timing.
Okay, this is where we really need to dig in, because like you said, Madix's costume is doing so much work. It's connecting pop, fashion, and this really quite tragic backstory. To get it, we need to understand Gaga's album Mayhem, and especially this track, Zombieboy.
Right, let's unpack the album first. Mayhem, released March 7th, 2025. Gaga herself called it her favorite record in a long time, which says a lot.
And musically, it was a return to dance pop, but with a twist.
Exactly. It was definitely dance-focused, back to her roots in a way.
Right.
But it wasn't just straight pop. It wove in disco, funk, but also these heavier, darker sounds, industrial influences, rock elements. It was complex.
That mix of sounds, especially the industrial stuff, hints at maybe a darker theme than just club tracks.
It does. And that brings us to the title track, Zombieboy, the direct inspiration for Madix. This is where the music connects directly to personal loss and tribute. The song is explicitly about the late Canadian model and artist Rick Genest.
Known internationally as Zombieboy.
Correct. And to really grasp the weight of Gaga's song and therefore Madix's costume, you need to know who Rick Genest was. He wasn't just a tattooed guy.
No, he was something else entirely, a living work of art. Committed his entire body to this one vision.
Totally. He held the Guinness World Record for his tattoos, skeletal themes, insects covering something like 90% of his body. It was this profound, permanent transformation. And he shot to global fame after appearing in Gaga's Born This Way video in 2011.
Which is such crucial context. Born This Way was the anthem for acceptance, for celebrating difference. Genest, with his truly unique look, was the embodiment of that message in the video.
Exactly. His inclusion wasn't a gimmick. It was a powerful statement. And it linked him intrinsically to Gaga and her message. From there, he crossed over into high fashion, worked with Thierry Mugler, featured in Vogue Japan. He really pushed boundaries, showing body modification could be seen as high art.
A really unique legacy, but also one cut short by tragedy. We should touch on the circumstances of his death in 2018. It adds another layer of meaning.
Yeah, it's important context. Rick Genest died after falling from a balcony in Montreal. After a thorough investigation, the coroner ruled it accidental.
Accidental, right. Not suicide, as was initially speculated by some.
Correct. The report noted he had a very high blood alcohol level, and apparently he had a habit of sitting on that specific balcony railing while smoking. Just a terribly tragic accident.
So Gaga's song Zombieboy, using those dance beats but also the darker industrial sounds. It's channeling that sadness while also celebrating his artistic contribution.
That seems to be the intent. And the track was really well received. Critics loved the disco feel, but also praised it as a thoughtful tribute to Genest's legacy in art and fashion. It did well globally, too. Charted on the Billboard Global 200, number 76, which is pretty impressive for a tribute track like that.
And it caught on visually, too, right? Dance trends?
Yeah, it sparked quite a few TikTok dance challenges, things like that. So the song and its meaning definitely resonated.
Which brings us right back to Coachella, April 2025. The performance Madix was referencing, this wasn't just another festival set.
No way. This was the Gaga event of the year, her big return to the Coachella headline slot. And Zombieboy wasn't just thrown in, it was placed right at the heart of the show. It was in the third act, which she actually titled The Beautiful Nightmare That Knows Her Name.
Wow, so setting a specific mood.
Absolutely. The whole section explored the sort of dark beauty, the complexities of her own artistic persona.
And the staging was apparently massive.
Completely over the top in the best Gaga way. 20 songs, 4 distinct acts, huge set pieces like a deconstructed opera house, a giant chessboard, and for Zombieboy specifically, the stage had this sandbox filled with dancers dressed as like nylon-covered zombies. Very eerie, very thematic.
How did she balance the new, darker stuff from Mayhem with her big hits?
Seamlessly, apparently. Critics raved about it. She debuted new tracks like The Beast, How Bad You Want Me, but then perfectly blended them with classics like Bloody Mary, Alejandro, even Shallow, It showed her incredible range.
I remember reading, though, that the dark aesthetic, especially in that third act, did stir up a bit of controversy.
It did. You know how it is. Some more conservative commentators saw the gothic imagery, the zombie figures, and immediately jumped to labeling it satanic or something similar.
Right.
But Gaga's team pushed back, saying it was just a complex, dark narrative consistent with her artistic explorations and the themes of mayhem. Of course, that little bit of controversy probably only made the performance more talked about.
And made Madix's costume referencing it months later even more potent, more recognizable.
Exactly. It locks it into a specific, highly discussed cultural moment.
Okay, let's pull back to the party itself again. Klum's guest list. It used to feel very Hollywood A-list, top models, maybe musicians. But the 2025 list, based on our sources, it feels different, broader.
It absolutely reflects this huge shift in who holds cultural influence now. It's like a real-time map of modern fame.
Yeah.
You had your established movie stars, sure, but right there with them. Reality TV stars who command massive audiences, top fashion models breaking barriers, huge digital creators.
The old hierarchies seem to be dissolving, or at least becoming much more porous.
Totally. The velvet rope between traditional and new media stars,
Mhm.
it's pretty much gone at an event like this.
We still saw traditional Hollywood represented, though, like Darren Criss and Mia Swire.
Yeah, they did a great couples costume.
Yeah.
Really fun and recognizable. Chris was Shrek, full green makeup and everything, and Swire was Puss in Boots.
Nice. A nod to contemporary animation, very accessible.
Exactly. It shows not every costume needs to be some obscure, terrifying thing. Sometimes nailing a beloved character is the way to go.
And then you had Ice-T and Coco Austin bringing the classic horror vibes.
Right, they went darker. Ice-T in this blood-splattered red bodysuit and mask, like a generic slasher villain. Coco did a kind of reimagined Chucky doll, still tapping into those familiar horror tropes.
But the really interesting part, I think, is seeing who else got an invite. The reality stars, the influencers.
Definitely. Take Amaya Espinal, winner of Love Island USA Season 7.
Amaya Papaya, huge following from that show.
Massive. And she came as a Na'vi from Avatar. Her being there, fresh off this huge reality TV success, shows that the social currency these stars build is now convertible into access at the highest level. Her engagement numbers matter as much as box office numbers in a way.
And it goes even further into the purely digital space, like Quenlin Blackwell.
Yes. She's a major TikTok creator known specifically for turning viral memes and internet moments into costumes. Her whole thing is that kind of rapid response cultural commentary through dress-up.
It's like Halloween as live-action meme generation.
Kind of. And then you have creators like Remi Bader, who built her platform on something really specific and important.
The fashion advocate, right. Size inclusivity, realistic hauls.
Exactly. Over 2 million TikTok followers. Her presence shows it's not just about being famous. It's about having a distinct voice, maybe an advocacy angle, a real connection with an audience on a specific issue. That's influence now.
And models who bridge the gap, like Heidi Kalil, traditional work plus huge digital reach.
Perfect example. Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, but also named to the Time 100 Creators list in 2025. She embodies that blend. She's got the establishment credentials and the massive online following.
The list also highlighted people actively changing the fashion industry itself. Valentina Sampaio.
Her inclusion is really significant. As the first openly transgender model for both Victoria's Secret and the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, her presence signals the party embracing figures who are reshaping industry standards and pushing for greater representation. It's about celebrating changemakers, too.
And then, amidst all the high-concept stuff, you still had room for classic glamour, like Ilona Maher.
Right, the rugby player.
Yeah.
She went for a Barbie-inspired look. Custom black gown, very elegant, very Hollywood. It's a good reminder that sometimes timeless style is the statement. Provides a nice contrast.
We also saw rising music stars like Coco Jones, established comedians like Marcello Hernandez.
Yeah, it really felt like Klum's team was pulling from every single corner of the entertainment world. Film, TV, music, comedy, reality, digital, fashion, sports.
It reflects how people consume media now, doesn't it? It's all fragmented.
Totally. A successful event, like successful content, has to hit all those different audiences. Klum gets that.
Okay, so stepping back from Klum's party specifically, what does the whole 2025 Halloween season, across the board, tell us about where celebrity culture is at with this stuff?
Well, it confirms what we've been seeing build for years.
Yeah.
Halloween at this level is basically a mini industry. The planning, the production values, the budgets. It's a comparable to awards season or fashion week now.
It's not just about grabbing a costume anymore. It's about production.
Absolutely. We're talking serious money spent on prosthetics, special effects makeup artists, custom design teams. These people get booked up months in advance. It's become highly professionalized.
Is it driven by social media? The need for that perfect viral photo?
Partly, for sure. The visual payoff online is huge. But I think it's also just become this genuine artistic competition, a way for celebrities to make a statement, show creativity outside their usual field.
And we saw trends at Klum's party reflected elsewhere, too, right? Like the meme costumes.
Definitely. Viral moments are prime costume fodder now because they're instantly recognizable. Quenlin Blackwell does it, but we saw others too.
Didn't Demi Lovato do one based on an old meme?
Yeah. She dressed up as Poot. Remember that weird, unflattering photo that became a whole internet thing? That shows even obscure internet lore is fair game for a high-budget costume now.
Meanwhile, the classic horror and film characters still work, but you have to really commit to the execution.
Oh, yeah. Kourtney Kardashian as the Bride of Frankenstein that requires serious hair and makeup artistry, or Ed Sheeran turning up as Pennywise the Clown from it.
Ed Sheeran as Pennywise? That's unexpected.
Right. But apparently, he nailed the terrifying look. It shows you need that movie-quality execution to make those classics land today.
And then there's the idea of Halloween not just being a one-off, but part of a larger artistic practice.
You have to mention Janelle Monáe here. Her Wandoween celebration is the perfect example.
Right, she treats it like a whole creative season.
Exactly. It's integrated into her artistic identity, her world building. She hosts her own event, does multiple incredible costumes throughout October, like the Cat in the Hat or a shark-bitten vampire one year. For her, it's a month-long performance, not just one night.
It really highlights how far we've come from, throwing a sheet over your head. For celebrities, at least.
Long gone.
Yeah.
The expectation now is that Halloween is this annual platform for a major artistic or sometimes philosophical or political statement.
Yeah.
#tag outro, synthesize and provoke.
So wrapping this all up, Klum's 2025 party really did feel like a snapshot of where celebrity culture is right now. You had Klum herself making this huge statement about human artistry with her Medusa almost pushing back against AI.
Right, that 10-hour handcrafted spectacle.
And then the guest list just showed how much the idea of celebrity has exploded. Digital creators, reality stars, boundary-pushing models, all mingling on equal footing with traditional stars.
And bringing it back to Ariana Madix's costume that Lady Gaga, Zombieboy, Rick Janis tribute, kind of ties it all together, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, you have the technical skill, the need for a visually striking look, but it's connected to this really deep cultural reference point. Gaga's song is about memory, artistic legacy, even tragedy, remembering Rick Janis.
Yeah.
And Gaga herself, like Klum, is championing that human creative spark. So Madix's choice links the spectacle back to substance, back to that idea of art having meaning.
It makes you look beyond just the wow factor of the costume.
Exactly. Yeah. And it leads to a bigger question, maybe. When you see these costumes that take months of work, huge teams, massive budgets, and they reference things like Greek myth or the complicated legacy of an artist like Janis.
Yeah.
Well, here's the final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Has celebrity Halloween at this level evolved past just being a party? Is it becoming this weird high-stakes form of annual performance art where the success isn't just how cool it looks, but the depth of the cultural conversation it starts?
Performance art on the Halloween red carpet. Interesting thought. We'll leave you with that one. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.